Welcome back everybody to the channel. It's me, Alejandro Mendoza, Ordinary Chicano. Either way how you say it, it's all good here. And we're back again for another video as we continue on through my backlog. And today we're going to look at a 4K of one of my favorite movies of all time from one of my favorite directors of all time. I'm talking about Ridley Scott's Prometheus on 4K Blu Ray. Of course, I hope that this video finds you all well, happy, healthy, and in good spirits, my friends. I really have been enjoying making the videos, and I hope that you all have been enjoying them as well. I am nearing the end of my backlog of what I wanted to cover before we start our retrospective of Andrei Tarkovsky's films. So I hope that you all have been enjoying the content. Of course, if you're new here and you never subscribed, please consider subscribing if you enjoy content about physical media. Then press that beautiful little notification bell so you don't miss a single piece of content that drops on the channel. And then go ahead and leave a like on this video. If you want to go ahead and lend an extra helping hand, go over to patreon.com/senorchicano and you can check out some exclusives like video essays along with early access to videos just like this one that you're watching right now. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this review of Ridley Scott's Prometheus. Because this isn't a boutique label release, it's just a standard release from 20th Century Fox. Well, back in the day it was 20th Century Fox. This doesn't have a nice little introduction or anything, so I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you what's included in here, and then I'm gonna show you the packaging, and then we'll go on from there. But of course, it has a 4K Ultra HD disc, has a Blu-ray disc, and it has the 2 audio commentaries by director producer Ridley Scott and by writer John Space and Damien Lindelof, the Peter Whalen files, and deleted and alternate scenes, including alternate beginning and ending. So those are the ones that are available, and of course you have a 4K disc with 4K resolution, high dynamic range, is HDR10 on this one, and a wider color spectrum provided with HDR, of course. And you have an English 7.1 DTS HD master track and a 5.1 descriptive audio track. So you have that on the 4K, and on the Blu-ray you also have that 7.1 and that 5.1 descriptive audio, and you have Spanish track, you also have a French track, and you have subtitle tracks too. But that's what's included in here. Now this is the front of the packaging, this is the back, this is the spine, and then you just open it up and you have the 4K disc and the Blu-ray disc. This used to come with a digital code that I no longer I have in here because I already used it, so I just throw them away. There's no reason to have them, especially if you can't use them. So that's the packaging of Prometheus on 4K Ultra HD. Ridley Scott's work is incredible. He's a director that I really love, and I appreciate a lot of his work. I mean, some of my favorite films from him are Gladiator, Kingdom of Heaven, Alien, and then there's the films like this one that I love a lot as well. But there's stuff like Alien Covenant that he made that I like, but I know that it's not the best of his films. But he's always made films that have always shot really far for the goal and have always been wide in their scope, and he's never really disappointed me, to be honest. I can say that for Prometheus, I was drawn into this movie from the get-go. I love the way that this is not just a continuation for the Alien story, but a philosophical and religious exploration of the lore of Alien by the introduction of the engineers and this new type of creatures that are being introduced into the film. You have some great performances in here, like Michael Fassbender, and a lot of the cast just does a great job at being able to, portray these scientists who are, not really sure what they're supposed to do anymore and what they're doing with their lives on this mission, but they're here to complete it and they have to do it, so they just have to play along by the rules. But I found myself so drawn to that aspect of this film because they did such a great job. I mean, Michael Fassbender really loses himself into this role, and then when you see Alien Covenant and you see how he has to play a dual role, it makes it even more worth it having seen this one and knowing what he does with the character in this film. Scott's writing is just on the dot, man. I gotta say, it's really hard for me to even point out what I don't like about this film, because I think that he truly does expand upon and really builds a really good foundation for what, you know, his most famous franchise and his most famous work is. I mean, Alien is a series that is so interesting because it starts off so small. They're in a ship. Ship has a problem. They're trying to find out what's going on. They find an alien, and the xenomorph, has to almost like kills mostly everybody except for Ripley. And from there, you're just finding out like, well, I wonder what's next, and the next movies will kind of build upon that, right? But this one doesn't limit itself. It takes you all the way back, tells you the origins of the xenomorphs, but also the origin of the engineers, and it really provides you a different look into the lore of Alien. It's a movie that to me is more of a digestible exploration of humanity, of faith, and the destruction of human creations, and how technology and these different creatures can sneak up on humans to be seen as more advanced and a bigger threat to them. Overall, Prometheus is such a great film. I will never understand the hate this film gets. I think it looks fantastic cinematography wise. I think the music is some of the best music you'll ever hear in an Alien score, and I think that it's such an interesting story that has a lot to say about faith, and about space, and about aliens. It's as silly as that sounds, it has a lot to say, guys. It's a movie that to me blew my mind the first time, and rewatching it just makes me fall in love with it all over again. Now, let's talk about the transfer. So this is a 4K Ultra HD transfer, and I'm not going to say that I have any references before this, because I watched this for the first time on 4K Ultra HD, and I never watched it in the theater. I never watched it on Blu Ray. I don't own a Blu Ray of this one, other than the one that's of course included in here, but this was one of the first films I picked up on 4K, along with Interstellar, that I bought with my player, because I wanted to test out my player and I wanted to see what the capabilities were. So I watched this now on a PS5, and now I watched it on my player, and I've got to say, I am such a fan of how this looks on 4K Ultra HD. The HDR really helps bring out a lot of vibrancy from the film. It makes it look really, not like colorful, but it helps like the blues pop, where it makes it more pleasing to the eye. There's instances where they're inside the ship, and they have some interesting lighting choices that really do reflect well on the color scheme. And especially when they go and look for the xenomorph, and they're inside, where the engineers are at, that when they have like that blue thing that like shows the maps and stuff, and it looks fantastic. The colors register well with the HDR is what I'm trying to say. And because of that, it's helped out a lot by the contrast, the black and white levels, and the overall look of this 4K transfer. I think it looks fantastic, man. It helps a lot that you have, a cinematographer on this film who provides a really good cinematic and visual language to the film, as it was shot beautifully. And then you pair it up with the magic of a 4K Ultra HD disc, along with some good HDR10 that really make it a really good registration of color and of sharpness and the resolution that the disc brings out of it. So I'm going to say that when it comes to the video side of things, this looks fantastic. And pretty much the same thing for audio, guys. I really like the audio. Of course, I'm listening to this straight from my TV speakers, but I've watched this before on a PS5, so I watched it on a speaker system as well. So I've heard this 7.1 before, and I've also heard it on Luis's old 5.1 setup, and I really like it, and I really like the way that it sounds. I think that the score sounds just atmospheric when it's paired up with that beautiful 7.1 track. But when you're listening to this straight from the TV speakers, it still sounds good, but it could sound better. When you have a proper setup, it's always going to bring out the better audio track. But when it came to just checking how this plays on this disc, the audio was great, The dialogue was balanced. The special effects were special sound effects were balanced, and music was balanced. Everything sounds great. Nothing sounds like it's out of place. Nothing sounds like it was terribly done or terribly transferred. It sounds good, and I've got to say that when it comes to Black Friday sales, or you see this movie on sale anywhere, pick it up. It's a great film. It has a great video transfer. It has a great audio transfer as well. And I think that you are doing yourself a disservice if you are a fan of science fiction and exploring science fiction through the lens of religious characteristics and faith by not picking this up. I mean, this is such a great film, and I hope that people pick it up because, to me, this movie is great. Alien Covenant's okay, and part of me just wishes that Ridley Scott would have completed this trilogy, of this prequel trilogy, because I really wanted to see what this whole complete trilogy and this complete vision of his would have looked like. But when it comes to Prometheus, it's fantastic. I love the video transfer and I love the audio transfer, and this just gets a highly recommended for me. If you want to keep up to date with me on all things social media, make sure you follow me at The Nerd Chicano on Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, Serialized, Twitch, and on TikTok. Make sure you check me out on there. I'm under the same handle, The Nerd Chicano, and it's pretty easy to find me. Check me out on the Nerdcore by checking out thenerdcore.com, Twitch and YouTube at The Nerdcore, Twitter at The Nerdcore_. That's our wonderful social media and our place where you can find our content. So check us out there. We've been doing a lot of really cool stuff, y'all. Of course, in the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you all like this film. If you don't like it, let me know in the comments. I want to talk to you all. I want to hear what you guys think about this film. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Check in the comments and let's talk with each other. Comment in there whether you like it or not. Do you like the films of Ridley Scott? Do you have a specific favorite of his? If you do, just let me know in the comments. But for now, to my wonderful cinephiles and renowned scholars, celebrate the love of cinema today, tomorrow, and every day after. Catch you all in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.